All right, good afternoon. You're watching Market View. It's 2 p.m. Central African time, and I'm your host, Fiso Ngumalo. Happy to have you join us once again in the program. It's the 17th of March. We're getting into a brand new week, and we are getting in with new developments happening, particularly within the developments happening around the economic transformation of the Kingdom of Eswatini. Financial literacy is the wake-up call today. Numbers are anything to go by. Eswatini's financial resilience is the center of conversation today. It is under scrutiny. The central bank is stepping in. Of course, we are seeing them launch a nationwide educational fair with a clear message: the future belongs to those who understand their money. And that is exactly what we are going to be delving into today on the program, particularly because we want to get into the reality check. 26% overall financial capability, rather a staggering 62% of people not planning their finances. And if that wasn't alarming, we are indeed going to get into the nick of things. The finance minister calling that a troubling reality, and quite frankly, he is right, and therefore we are going to look into that. But also market forces are at play today. The Wall Street is soaring and European markets are holding steady, while Asia is showcasing cautious optimism. Senator Sbia is going to chime in as we delve deeper into what these numbers mean for you as a business person as well as for potential investors. It is fast, it is sharp, and it is essential. This is Market View. Let's get started. And our first story, an effort to ensure financial resilience, especially amongst the youth. The Central Bank of Eswatini has announced that it will be conducting an educational fair this week. Now, the governor of the central bank, Dr. Philip Nisi, says this is an opportunity that is going to shape the future financial mindset of young people. He was speaking at the Central Bank complex at Eswatini during the launch of the Global Money Week, which starts today until Sunday.
According to the Central Statistics Office 2023, 43% of the population are children under the age of 18. Most of them are school-going children using social media for, amongst other things, attaining financial information. This year's theme for the Global Money Week focuses on school-going children to make wise financial decisions. The governor of the Central Bank of Eswatini, Dr. Phil Nisi, says they will be scaling up their efforts to provide financial education to the youth.
This event is a testament to our collective commitment to empowering our youth with the knowledge and skills they need to navigate the complex world of finance. For Eswatini, Global Money Week is not just an event, but a commitment to collectively guide young people towards the right paths in securing a better future. In today's digital age, social media plays an essential role in our lives. In Eswatini, the prominence of social media usage presents great opportunities for our young people. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, formerly Twitter, have become powerful tools for learning, connecting, and sharing information. They empower and equip our youth on various topics, including education and entrepreneurship. However, these opportunities come with challenges that we must address. The emergence of influencers, both locally and internationally, has significantly impacted how we perceive and interact with the world. We love and place much trust in these influencers because they model a behavior we desire and influence our day-to-day lives. They shape our opinions, trends, and even financial decisions. While many influencers provide valuable content, it is crucial to remember that not all information is reliable and or beneficial. A Maswati culture is anchored around values of trust, respect, and humility. These values are deeply ingrained in our society and guide our interactions. However, in the context of the digital world, it is essential that we think before we follow. This will enable us to be selective about what we embrace and adopt. Social media influence can be overwhelming, and it is easy to be caught up in the excitement of new trends or financial advice. We must encourage young people to critically evaluate the information they consume, especially when it comes to making financial decisions. In this regard, I am delighted to announce that this year's Global Money Week will be even more impactful, featuring the educational fair starting from tomorrow until Thursday, the 20th of March, 2025.
Global Money Week is an annual global awareness campaign initiated by Child and Youth Finance International. It aims to empower young people with financial literacy skills and knowledge to make informed financial decisions and achieve financial well-being. Young people who participated in the 2025 Global Money Week competition by the Central Bank of Eswatini won themselves money from 1,500 emalangeni up to 10,000 emalangeni. In total, 42,000 emalangeni was shared amongst the youth. The theme for this year is Think Before You Follow, Wise Money Tomorrow. For Market View, Nelson Dlangamandla, for Minkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
The youth have shared their success stories on how receiving financial literacy has helped them open bank accounts, make savings of up to 10,000 emalangeni for some. Now, this was during the launch of the Global Money Week at the Central Bank of Eswatini complex at Ezulwini.
The youth have applauded efforts by different organizations for affording them the opportunity for financial literacy, which has since paid off as they are making profits in their startup businesses.
I even have a bank account at Eswatini Bank now. Me, I put my extra money in there and it feels so safe. Like it's waiting for me to use it for something really special.
So with this knowledge, we are not just students in the Enexus community. We are leaders, we are conquerors, we are the future. And by equipping ourselves with communities and our communities with basic financial management skills, we can create a future that promises financial stability, security, and success for all.
Around April last year, I was able to save 2,000 emalangeni. And I also aiming to have saved 30,000 to 40,000 by next year when I finish school to cater for my university fees.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Financial Services Regulatory Authority, Ncamiso Njalinjali, says it is important that children and young people are equipped with the necessary money management skills, attitudes, and behaviors needed to make smarter future financial decisions.
The importance of financial literacy cannot be overstated. It forms the foundation of building strong, resilient individuals and communities. Financial education helps people manage their resources effectively, make informed decisions, and build a sense of security that can endure even in times of financial uncertainty. For our youth, it is the first step in understanding how to manage money wisely, save for the future, and make investments that will lead to long-term success.
The blended FinScope survey launched by the Ministry of Finance about 2 weeks ago states that 24% of businesses are owned by the youth aged between 18 to 34 years, and this bracket of the population is very active on social media. Hence, the central bank's escalated efforts to educate them on the need to scrutinize financial information on social media. For Market View, Nelson Dlangamandla, for Minkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
Let's go for a net break. We'll be back with our Enterprise Watch segment.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz.
Welcome back. The Minister for Finance, Honorable Neil Reichenbach, says statistics reveal a troubling reality in the country as the overall financial capability is at 26%. Now, 62% people are not planning their finances, and 68% are struggling to control their finances. 61% do not know how to manage their finances. Now, the minister, who was represented by the Principal Secretary, Vusi Dlamini, was speaking during the launch of the Global Money Week at Central Bank, Eswatini.
This week serves as a reminder of our shared commitment to fostering financial literacy and inclusion, empowering next generations to navigate the complex world of finance with confidence and competence.
Hello.
Before delving deeper into today's theme, I want to take this moment to acknowledge the efforts of all those involved in organizing this event.
Hello.
The educators, financial institutions, NGOs, and most importantly, the young people themselves, whose enthusiasm and curiosity drive initiatives like this one. Thank you for your dedication and passion in shaping a financially savvy future. As we reflect on the core objectives of the Global Money Week, focusing on the theme, Think Before You Follow, Wise Money Tomorrow, which implies that good money management practices such as budgeting, saving, and investing wisely are essential to achieving financial well-being in the future. The theme highlights the importance of financial literacy in achieving a sustainable future for both individuals and the nation as a whole. Understanding how money works is vital. It shapes our ability to make informed decisions about budgeting, saving, and investing. Financial literacy is not just about understanding numbers and concepts. It is about having the power to influence our financial futures, break cycles of poverty, and pave the way for a prosperous life. Statistics reveal a troubling reality that as a nation, overall financial capability is at 26%. 62% not planning their finances, 68% struggling to control their finances, 61% not knowing how to manage their finances. Many individuals, particularly young people in our communities, lack the basic financial education necessary to make sound decisions. This lack of knowledge leads to poor financial choices, increased debt, and financial insecurity. It is therefore our duty as a different stakeholders to turn this narrative around. There's a profound link between financial literacy and financial inclusion. When individuals have sound financial knowledge, they are more likely to access and utilize essential financial services like bank accounts, loans, and insurance products. They can better manage their finances and contribute to economic resilience. Through building financial literacy, we unlock pathways to financial inclusion, particularly for marginalized communities. This is where the world of finance becomes accessible to all, regardless of socio-economic status. It is not just a matter of equality, it is a question of justice and empowerment. As leaders and policymakers, it is our responsibility to foster an environment where financial education is readily accessible. This means integrating financial literacy into our school curricula, launching community education programs, and creating partnerships with financial institutions to enable availability of relevant resources. We have a collective obligation, therefore, to advocate for policies that support the dissemination of financial knowledge. In doing so, we can dismantle barriers that prevent individuals from participating in the financial ecosystem. It is our task to ensure that every Liswati, especially the youth, is equipped with the tools that they need to thrive. I wish to urge everyone here today to reflect on how we can continue our efforts beyond the Global Money Week. Let us forge ahead with renewed energy to promote financial education within our communities. Let us engage the youth in a meaningful conversation about financial risks and opportunities.
Well, the Minister for Education and Training, Honorable Owen Nxumalo, has pledged to ensure that the curriculum has enough knowledge on financial literacy. Making his remarks during the launch of the Global Money Week, the minister said, already the curriculum offers these lessons, but more is being done to ensure more lessons are offered.
This week is dedicated to fostering awareness and understanding of financial literacy among our learners and the youth. Today, we recognize not just the importance of managing money, but also the vital role education plays in empowering individuals and make informed, formal decisions. In a world where financial decisions shape lives, financial literacy is no longer optional. It is essential. We live in an era where young people are exposed to numerous financial influences, from social media trends to peer pressure and digital financial services. While these present opportunities, they also come with risks, especially when decisions are made without careful thought. This campaign encourages young people to pause, analyze, and make informed financial choices, whether it's about saving, spending wisely, or investing in their future. Our mission is to instill these principles early so that we build a financially responsible and economically empowered generation. As the Minister of Education and Training, we are committed to integrating financial literacy into our school curriculum. Currently, we are working with CFI to create a comprehensive framework for financial education, embedding it across various subjects, from mathematics to social studies. The integration will ensure that our learners not only excel in academic subjects, but also acquire the skills necessary to manage money, avoid debt traps, and plan for their future. By normalizing discussions around money, savings, and responsible financial behavior, we lay the foundation for a generation that is well-versed in financial matters. Program Director, it is important to mention that schools cannot achieve this alone. We need the support of families, communities, and financial institutions. Partnerships will enhance our efforts by providing resources, expertise, and innovation tools that make financial education engaging and relevant for our students. I therefore encourage all key stakeholders to be involved in develop programs and workshops that further enrich our students' understanding of finance. As we embark on the Global Money Week, let us commit to build a culture of financial responsibility, one that will shape not only individual futures, but also the economic success of our nation. Together, let us think before we follow, so we can secure a wise money tomorrow.
All right, we will continue with our show shortly. We just want to get straight into our market analysis with Sanele Spear. Right, welcome back. You're still watching Market View. This is our market analysis segment with Sanele Spear. He joins us virtually. Sanele, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the program. Wall Street soaring today. It's holding steady. European markets are holding steady, but not so much the story with Asia. They're holding cautious with optimism. What is the story today?
Thank you, Mr. Nmalo, and a good afternoon to the viewer at home. So what we are seeing in the markets today, Mr. Nmalo, is what one would call a relative calm. We're seeing markets regaining the losses of the previous days, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average regaining some 674 points, with the Nasdaq also regaining some 451 points, and the S&P 500 also eking back some 117 points on Friday's trades. So that's purely because when you look at Trump's direction regarding the economy, it seems it's not yet well structured. And the likely impact of those tariffs that markets were fearing seem to somehow to dissipate over quite a number of what one would call, exclusions, and quite a number of exempt lines that are not there. So that one we kind of waiting to see. And also the growth figures in the US economy did somehow show that we are avoiding a recession territory therein. And, there is also a bit of the tit for tat between Canada, the US and the EU. But none of the EU tariffs have actually come into play. But what we are watching forward to this week, Mr. Nxumalo, is the stance by the Federal Reserve Bank in the US. So there's that meeting that markets are looking forward to, because it's going to signal how the Federal Reserve Bank sees this entire tariff story, and that we do expect to have impacts across the global economy. So it should give us an inkling of whether the Feds do think that it is possible for the US economy to go into a recession, and also give us an inkling of how the Feds gauge the likely effects of Trump's policies on inflation and effectively the interest rates going forward in those 10-year bond yields in the US economy. And then when we move across the pond to Europe, Again, there is a bit of relative calm. Markets gaining back what they lost last week, with London gaining back some 19 points. Frankfurt in Germany gaining some 63 points, and Paris gaining some 24 points there. So the key story in Europe, Mr. Numalo, if you watch at what is happening to the DAX in Frankfurt, it's an issue of markets waiting to see how Germany is going to play around with their debt policies. I mean, remember that Germany had a very stringent ceiling on their deficit financing and the debt policies, therefore. So we're waiting to see how they're going to play around with that, how they're going to either extend it or increase it or lower it, right? We've seen that happening in France in the past couple of months, where President Macron came out to say, no, we are going to increase, or we're going to float a bond to try and get money in those markets. So markets are trying to also play into that German story and see how it is actually going to play out in the markets. But we do note the optimism there purely because everyone is waiting to see what the Feds will do and what the European Central Bank is also going to do in terms of that interest rate trajectory, given the Trump policies there on those tariffs. And then when we move on to Asia, again, there is a bit of relative calm in Asia as well. But note that in Japan, the Nikkei also just shows some positive movements, but we're not yet back at the levels at which we were a couple of weeks ago, because before this tit for tat on tariffs started. But one thing that is quite interesting with Asia region is that Hang Seng index there, it's now back on 24,000. So it is now beginning to surpass those pre-COVID levels. So it is showing that the tech stock and those tech investments in Hong Kong are actually now starting to lead the markets, and it seems they're performing relatively well. And we seem to be maintaining that 23,000 to 24,000 bandwidth in terms of the all trade volumes there in Hang Seng, which is something that investors should look forward to, just moving into that territory that it's beginning to become a bit profitable. And then when you look into Hang Seng, yeah, we're still maintaining it at that region, and we're still awaiting more stimulus packages to come into play. And then when we come into South Africa, Nxumalo, what we are seeing there is the Johannesburg Stock Exchange really surging, moving closer back to that 89,000 mark, which we saw when the GNU first took office. So right now, what is showing those movements up in the JSE is what we're seeing in terms of that gold rally. Gold has actually hit the 3,000 mark, $3,000 per ounce mark. So we know that the JSE is heavily laden on the resources. So with an upward surge in the resource price, then we do expect those changes to also be reflected in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. And then now coming into the commodities, as we've just stated, that gold has actually reached the $3,000 per ounce mark. So now that is because of those geopolitical tensions in the market, throwing in this uncertainty in the market. We've seen issues around we've seen issues around attacks on Iran if they do not stop supporting the Houthis. And then we've seen issues around President Trump now doing a 360 on Russia, saying, I'm coming at you with more tariffs if you do not give into into this peace accord that President Trump is trying to put on the table. And those are geopolitical tensions. We're seeing Israel continuing an onslaught on that Gaza Strip. So it's becoming a bit more volatile right now. But we had expected that President Trump would somehow stabilize things, but it seems his strategy now contributes to a bit of volatility in terms of what markets are seeing in the short to medium term, because nobody ever sits in the Oval Office except for President Trump. So that now is also being reflected in the price of Brent crude. It's now sitting there at that 71,000 mark. The geopolitical tensions are coming into the market, but they're not offsetting those recession fears, both in to 15 to the dollar, and 1 to 19.79 against the euro, and 1 to 8.20 against the Japanese yen. Mr. Nxumalo, thank you.
Sanele, thank you for those insights. I'm sure that our entrepreneurs as well as our investors will take heed to that and really make informed